There are real legitimate expectations for the Yankees. There's a lot of I don't know about the Mets right now, but I can't tell you how happy I am to get the hell out of winter sports and start actually thinking that there are a couple teams that may be able to do something here. Now, the Yankees, look, every player, from the executives, from their own fans, all think that they have a championship team. Now, I believe that there are certain holes they'll find themselves, in the pitching rotation. There's no question about that as we start the season. But their lineup is stacked even without Hicks. This is a team that's got a lot of depth. This is a team that's got a guy that by the name of Troy Tulowitzki, who now all he has to do is be a part of the team. Doesn't have to carry the team. He should be able to benefit from that as long as he plays a solid shortstop. And I can't wait to see Aaron Judge, Andujar, Torres, and Sanchez. There's a lot of guys out there that, you just know that they're going to have great years. I think 3 of those 4 guys will have great years. The big question is whether or not Gary Sanchez is going to improve on last year's disaster of a season. And he's one of the reasons why maybe they only won 100 games. If he plays up to what everybody thinks he's capable of, this team could have a 110-win season. He's that important. He's that good. And if he is that locked in, and hopefully he is this year, then all of a sudden this is murderer's row all over again.
Yeah, and at the end of the season, I remember thinking as I was watching the Red Sox mow down the Yankees in that divisional series, I thought that the Yankees were going to go out and be embarrassed in this offseason enough to sign big-name free agents. I remember tweeting out as I was leaving Yankee Stadium after that elimination game, I said, see you at the Machado press conference. I really thought that this was going to be the impetus of them going out and making a big splash move again on the heels of the Giancarlo Stanton trade the year before, and they were going to really go all in, and Brian Cashman did not. Now, yes, he went and made that trade for James Paxton. That might end up being the move that puts them over the top. But it's not as if the Yankees changed their roster, overhauled anything, went out and grabbed a huge piece that was going to be the Giancarlo Stanton of 2019, where all eyes were on him, because they believe that they're good enough. And then we found out that Didi Gregorius was going to be out for a while and how they were going to handle that, and they chose to handle it with basically an unknown shell of a former player that hopefully they can squeeze some greatness out of in the interim. So I think that the people who are high on the Yankees are high on the things that you are talking about, that these great players that they have on the roster already are going to stay healthy. They're going to have great years. Andujar and Torres are going to get better. Aaron Judge could potentially win an MVP. Gary Sanchez becomes himself again. Greg Bird is not a complete waste on this roster. Luke Voit and Greg Bird, that combination for the Yankees is a great one. And if you believe that, and you believe that this bullpen, which is the best in baseball on paper, can help out a staff that, yes, still has some question marks around it, then why the hell not? Why the hell not say that this team is a favorite to get to the World Series and win it?
Plus, their early season schedule is just horrendous in terms of who they're playing. It's almost like, they're the Harlem Globetrotters playing against the Washington Generals many times. So
a lot of bad teams.
And I understand it's baseball and anything can happen in baseball, but come on, this schedule is set up for them to get off to a unbelievable start. Now, a couple things. First and foremost, the Hicks injury. The silver lining is that both Voit and Bird are here. Mm-hmm. They both would not be here, I believe, if Hicks were healthy. So that's kind of like they're lucky that they're both here. They have to get off to good starts. They have to show the Yankees that that they need to be here. But when Hicks comes back, that's when this whole thing is going to become really interesting, assuming that everybody else stays healthy out in the outfield. They'll start with Gardner in center. They'll have Stanton playing left. They'll bring in Tauchman when they need him, maybe to give those guys a blow late in the game. Like, let's say they're winning today 10-2, all right, and they're in the 7th inning. Tauchman's going out there somewhere. He's going out there to get somebody off the field. So that's one of the reasons why they went and signed him. LeMahieu, this is going to be interesting to see where he ends up playing or how much he ends up playing. I would think that would all depend on how Tulowitzki's doing at short, because, Torres and Andujar are the two guys that mainly are going to be playing every day. And they're going to be moving around a little bit here and there. And then it comes down to Gary Sanchez. So I'm not worried about Judge. I'm not worried about Stanton. I don't worry about first base. I think they got a They got a good problem at first base right now that was handled because of the Hicks injury. This team is locked and loaded. The thing that I would be worried about, and you just talked about it, is you said, hey, go get Machado, go get Machado. I never thought Machado was going to come here. And the reason I never thought that was because of what Hal Steinbrenner said about Machado's comments in the playoffs about how he's not Charlie Hustle and all this other crap. There was no way he was coming to the Yankees. No way. I don't care what anybody says, because I believe that they feel like they have their young players in place, and that will be Didi Gregorius when he comes back. I think they love Didi. And I think they want to keep him. I think they want to extend his contract when he comes back from his injury, and he'll probably be back somewhere in July or August, and it'll be like making that major trade at the trade deadline, assuming that Tulowitzki makes it there and doesn't get hurt, or somebody else gets hurt in the infield where he'll have to do something to fill in a hole. But right now, hope springs eternal for the Yankees, and it should. I just worry about their fourth and their fifth starters. I worry about, CC Sabathia. How much does he have literally left in the tank? But this is a team that should get off to a great start. This should be a season for the ages, given the fact that all of these young guys are going to be 1 year better and all have high expectations, not only for their team, but really for themselves.
Yeah, I love a team like the Yankees in this situation where going into last year, the expectations were high because they overachieved. Nobody had them in Game 7 of the ALCS in 2017. That's where they end up. They come back in 2018. They don't win the division. The Red Sox steamroll them, go win the World Series, which is obviously the worst possible scenario for the Yankees. So now you've got that same talented team that's changed a couple things, a couple of tweaks in the offseason, and now come back with a chip on their shoulder. That is the type of team that, regardless if it's a local team or not, you look for as seasons start. Like, where's that really talented team that things just didn't quite work last year, but now they're bringing back that same pissed off group the next season? And that's exactly what the Yankees are. And it's going to be the same teams in the American League again. And it's very, very hard to repeat, as we have seen in baseball over the last several years. The really, really good team, it's tough to get back there and do it again. We saw it with the Astros 2017 to 2018. Are we going to see it with the Red Sox 2018 and 2019? And my money would be on that it's going to be either the Indians, the Red Sox, and most likely the Yankees that come out of the American League this year, because the Red Sox to do what they did again next year with their bullpen in shambles, to me, would be just shocking.
The only thing, and I know Masahiro Tanaka is a big game pitcher, and he's proven himself to be that. The only thing that I believe that the Yankees don't have is they don't have that number one top-end ace. They don't have Scherzer. They don't have DeGrom. They don't have Verlander. They don't have Kluber and Sale.
Yeah.
That they don't have that guy. So, like, if you list the top 10 pitchers in baseball, is Tanaka a top 10 pitcher in baseball? I mean, based on his big game performances, I guess you could say that. But I don't necessarily know that the Yankees have that player. I think Paxton and Happ, bringing those guys in and bringing Happ back, was smart for Brian Cashman. They give you quality pitchers, quality left-handed pitchers. They'll give you innings. I just don't necessarily know that you have that blow-away guy, and that's where the bullpen comes in.
Yeah,
that's where Ottavino comes in. That's where hopefully Dylan Betances, when he gets back and is healthy, that's where he comes in. And then you have to wonder about Severino. Severino could have been that guy last year. I think most people felt his first half was that. And then all of a sudden he kind of dissipated a little bit, whether he was tipping pitches or he was out of shape. They sent the Yankees sent their dietitians down to talk to Severino about his, what he puts in his body and everything else, that we're really concerned about that, making sure that he was healthier. So now he comes with this inflammation in the shoulder and all that other stuff. If he can come back and somehow be the guy that he was in the first half, then maybe, just maybe, there's your ace. That's the guy that has to be the top end, really supreme talent when he's got his head on straight and when he's pitching really well and he's got his confidence going. So hopefully they do not lose him for an extended period of time. And if he does come back, then I say watch out, because now all of a sudden you have a full team and they're ready to rock and roll. And then when Didi Gregorius comes back, barring any other major injuries, this team's going to be loaded. And you know it. It's going to be the Indians, the Astros, the Red Sox, the Yankees. I don't know who else the other teams will be. That doesn't look like there's much out there in the American League. But we have a 4-team race for the pennant to make it to the World Series.
I think you're underestimating James Paxton's ability to be a major top-of-the-line starter for this team, too. I mean, Brian Cashman traded for him to do that.
I think he's a top pitcher, but I don't think he's like a top end pitcher. Like if you rated pitchers on a 1 to 5 scale, 5 being your ace of aces. That's the DeGrom and that's the Scherzers, that's the Verlanders, right? Mm-hmm. I would say that Paxton, just in my eyes, I think he's like a 4.5. I'm not saying that he's not a top end pitcher. I think they all, you know what they have? They have really quality guys. They have a lot of quality. But where is that next level guy? Where is that Roger Clemens? Where is the Andy Pettitte when he was on his game? Where is when CC Sabathia first got here and he was a workhorse?
Well, yeah, I mean, when you get to the postseason and you look in the paper and you say, okay, well, they got Bumgarner going. Okay, they've got DeGrom going or whoever like that. Did the Yankees at the end of this year, do you feel like they're going to have that guy in games 1 and game 7 in a series? I know what you're saying.
That's what it comes down to because, most of the time, and it's the old adage that pitching beats hitting or whatever, but I just think that this Yankee team should get off to a great start because of the lack of pitching for the teams that they're playing against. I mean, take a look at their first 20 games.
Well,
man.
not even just lack of pitching, lack of roster.
If they're anything, I would say, I'm going to say 15-5, 16-4. That's what they should be like.
Yeah, I mean, there really is no excuse with the schedule. I mean, even the teams that they play that are good teams, it's not like you're chalking up losses in every one of those games. You could win those games, too. So, I mean, this is a team that, with the White Sox, the Tigers, the Royals, the Orioles.
God, it's horrendous. That's why, if I'm a Yankee fan, like, I actually kind of sit here and I'm like, wow, man, look at this team. Look at these young players. Look at their schedule. They're going to get off to a great start. Yeah. They're going to be happy. The only thing that could screw this up is if, Aaron Boone screws up something with a pitching change somewhere along the line. Or, they bat out of order somehow.
Yeah, well, that won't happen with the Yankees. Aaron Boone might screw up going to the bullpen too early or too late like he did last year, but you're not going to see a lineup, a Mickey Callaway mistake like that. I do think the Yankees are going to win the division, and I do think the Yankees are going to go to the World Series this year. I firmly believe that. I think that the Houston Astros are going to be a bigger issue for the Yankees in the American League than the Red Sox are this year. I think that the Red Sox are going to take a step back. You're going to see a repeat in 2017 ALCS.
Well, I hate to tell
Yankees
you,
and Astros.
I hate to tell you, though.
An epic series.
The Red Sox essentially play the same teams that the Yankees do. So
yeah, I know. But they had their year, man. I'm telling you, it's not going to happen like that again. It's just not. The Yankees had their special year the year before where they exceeded everything that everyone believed that they would be, and they didn't get it done. Of course, that they didn't make it to the World Series. The Red Sox had that year last year where everything ended up working out for them.